Good evening, Javier Franco, perspective from my porch, Steps for Success Life Coach. Today's perspective from my porch is going to be a little bit different because I want to talk about something that happened to me um, last year. Today it marks the 1 year anniversary of an accident that was pretty bad off. Um, some of you may know, but I had an accident. I got thrown off a zero turn. I landed on my neck, on my head, and twice uh, off the zero turn. I really don't know how it happened. I watched the video that I did last year. I really didn't remember what I said, but according to the description, I fell down twice, and both times landed on my head and landed on my neck, also damaging my neck quite a bit. As I went to the hospital, I was airlifted. They found out that I had damage to my spinal cord. I had broken some screws from a previous surgery, and my arms were really in pain. My legs were in pain. My back, my whole body was in pain. Um, I really don't can't tell you very much more about that because I don't remember much more. I don't remember much of the things that were going on. But the reason I came on tonight because of the anniversary part is simply because of the fact that I just want to let you know that when you go through problems, when you go through situations in your life, it's up to you to decide whether to succeed or whether to stay back. Even though it was a really negative situation that I went through, even though it's a bad situation that I went through, my vision of it became a positive vision. My vision became that it was a very positive situation that occurred to me. One, I was able to walk a lot better. Two, the surgery that came about 2 months after the surgery, after the accident, uh, that was a very positive. I stayed in rehab quite a bit. This happened, like I said, in April. I got finally out of rehab in October. I believe I was finally released from from rehab. The last part about it is now I'm going through their counseling for the problems that I went through. One of the things that I can tell you is that it could have been really negative. I could have had a negative attitude. Along the way, I did develop negative attitudes. Um, but I had a big support system. I always talk about having a big support system, that it's important for you to have a support system. But make sure it's a positive support system. Behind me was, of course, my family, who were really instrumental in making me see the things that I was doing, and they comforted me, they talked to me, and they made sure that I was doing the right thing. Of course, the therapists, the nursing staff there at Hendrick were fabulous, and they constantly pushed me, and they constantly knew my limits, and they learned my limits, and they knew that I was stubborn, and I did try to give up a couple of times, but they didn't allow me. They just pushed me, which was a good thing. You know me, you know I'm a stubborn guy. One of the other things that happened is that I had a support system to the church. The man of the church, the pastor, the associate pastor, uh, some of the ladies from the church visited me after I was able to see visitors, and that gave me a lot of comfort. And looking back on last year, I noticed that some people were there, and I didn't realize that they were there until I saw the pictures. So for that, I appreciate those visits. Once again, it was a traumatic accident. It was bad, but at the same time, it was negative. It was positive. So as I learned uh, my limits, I continued to push forward. In the last video, you heard me talking about that I focused on falling for such a long time, but then I decided to focus on walking, which is really important. So walking is important to me. Uh, walking around. Even though sometimes my legs start hurting, my back start hurting, my neck starts hurting, my arms start hurting, I'm not gonna let it slow me down. There are limits that I have, but slowly but surely I will get those limits and and decrease them. There's a verse in the Bible in John chapter 1 that says, He must increase and I must decrease. In other words, God must increase in my life and I must decrease. And that's one of the things that I've learned this year is that it's not up to me, it's up to who I believe in. It was God. It is up to me to keep a positive attitude, and I have had negative attitudes. Don't get me wrong, I have had some negative things, but at the same time, I see the positive. I look for the positive. The most important, I look for the positive in people. The people who are around me, I make sure they're positive. I make sure that they have a plan to go forward. Um, 1 year. It's been 1 year since that accident. Some of y'all were there. Some of y'all may not have been there. But I did post a picture earlier on my Facebook of what I looked like. I was bruised up. My face was pretty bloody, but bruised up. Um, I was in a lot of pain. I can tell by the videos that I was in a lot of pain, and I remember being in a lot of pain. I just wanted to come on here and thank those who were there, thank those who were praying for me. Really important. My perspective on my porch tonight is a little bit different. It's a little bit more about myself more than anything else. So I thank you. Once again, if you're going through problems, if you're going through situations, remember there is a positive there. You just have to find it. There is a positive. You have to look for it. Quit looking at all the negatives and start looking at the positives. Thank y'all for listening. I will see y'all later. Thank you.